If your relationship is full of fights that keep repeating on a loop, you go to bed feeling emotionally exhausted and disconnected from your partner, then this video is for you. I'm going to educate you on the root cause of all arguments in relationships. And I'm also going to give you the cure. How do you turn things around when there are fights in a relationship? Is it possible to save a relationship when things are going bad? Well, let's find out. First of all, I would like to begin with a Bible verse which encompasses the theme of today's lesson. Proverbs 50 verse 1 states, "A soft answer turneth away wrath, but grievous words stir up anger." Now, I want you to think about this as I go through today's video. When it comes to arguments, this is actually quite romanticized in today's modern society. You look at movies, TV shows, the entertainment industry, music. It tends to promote couples fighting, arguing, right? They're always having these shouting matches. And a lot of people are conditioned to believe that, well, this is normal. This is part of the ups and downs of a relationship. But what most people fail to understand, but yet they actually feel emotionally when they're in it, is that this isn't true. Because when you have consistent arguments over a long period of time, especially when the root cause of the problem is left unresolved, this is going to destroy the emotional attraction between you and your partner. Whether you are boyfriend and girlfriend, husband or wife, you've been together for 6 months or 6 years, it will slowly chip away at trust, intimacy and respect, which can ultimately destroy the love you have for each other. And what is sad is most people actually separate or divorce when all they really needed to do was sit there and understand each other. So there are 3 roots that are at the core of why arguments happen in relationships. The first reason by which arguments happen is because of incompatibility. I hate to burst your bubble. If you are with someone that doesn't share the same values as you, has an opposite lifestyle, disagrees on the important things from life, you are not going to get along. You will never get along. For example, a die-hard conservative or a die-hard liberal are simply not going to be able to live together for a long period of time without getting into serious shouting matches. If you have an opposite lifestyle, for example, somebody like me, where I'm quite calm, I like to be at home, that's the lifestyle I enjoy, right? And I were to meet a girl who parties, drinks, smokes, it's just not going to happen. I'm going to walk away instantly. Why? Because you have a different lifestyle. It's going to simply get in the way. A woman like that would think a man like me would be boring because he's at home, working on his business, doing his thing. And I'm going to look at a woman like that and think she's just a degenerate because she's not going to want to sit at home and live peacefully. She needs to be out and about and taking copious amounts of alcohol. It's complete different lifestyles. It's going to get in the way of building a life together. Do you understand where I'm going with that? But I see a lot of people stay in a relationship because they find each other very physically attractive. Physical desire is very important initially. You both should mutually find each other very, very attractive. But if you don't have the other ingredient, which is compatibility, right? The alignment of values, outlook on life and belief system, you simply can't build emotional attraction in the long term. It's going to get to a point where you can't grow together anymore because there's not enough substance there. You can't relate to each other, right? The example I've just given, a conservative, a liberal, it's not going to happen. A girl who's always partying and a guy who wants to chill at home, it's just not going to happen, right? Disagreeing on children, right? If you are somebody who wants a big family, 3, 4, 5 children, and you meet someone and they say, no, I never want to have kids, it's not happening. An avid Christian who studies their Bible is not going to get along with someone who's an atheist that absolutely, they've rejected Christ. It's not going to happen. As it says in the Bible, if 2 disagree, how could they possibly walk together? But you see a lot of people actually get married and have children with a partner that they were incompatible with, and they overlooked it because they were lustful. They found them very attractive, turned a blind eye to the very obvious signs of incompatibility, and then they think, you know what, I'm going to make it work. 3 years later, 5 years later, they've been shouting and fighting with each other for years because they don't have the same values. So what happens? The emotional attraction they have for each other slowly starts to fade away, and then they simply leave, or they settle in a miserable relationship. So if you are in this situation, the only thing left for you to do is leave, because your foundation was wrong to begin with. You are incompatible. And really what you're looking for in a relationship is both things. You want physical desire to be the same. For example, as a man, you look at a woman and think she's beautiful. She looks at you and thinks you're handsome. And in terms of your values, your lifestyle, your belief system, outlook on life, you are completely aligned and agree on all of the important things. It doesn't mean if you like playing Call of Duty, guys, or watching football on the weekend, and she likes reading romance novels, or she watches some girly TV show, whatever, that you're incompatible. No, there's nothing wrong with that. But everything else, the big stuff, has to be aligned. The amount of children you want, how you want your children to be raised, okay, your belief system, your views on politics, religion, your lifestyle. These things have to be aligned, because people that like the same things tend to like each other, and people that don't like the same things don't like each other. If you want to build a real bond, you and your partner should be physically attracted to each other and mutually compatible. You put those two ingredients together, now you can bake a beautiful relationship. Okay? There is no two ways about it. So I want to make that very clear. If you are incompatible, there is going to be lots of arguments in a relationship. And unfortunately, most couples go this way, and they really waste years of their life with the wrong partner. In this case, the answer is to leave. Now, continuing on with the second root cause of arguments in relationships, and this is one that happens to most people, is fights that happen due to misunderstandings. Yes, unlike incompatibility, which can only be resolved by removing that person and finding someone you're compatible with, when there is a misunderstanding, well, all you have to do is understand each other and it's sorted. Now, this is rooted in immaturity or unresolved wounds from the past, whether it's from your childhood or you've had terrible relationships in the past where you've been betrayed, taken advantage of, lied to, cheated on. This can sometimes taint the way you see relationships. So now that you have a healthy partner, you have to relearn how to love and trust again. So what you may notice in this case, that you or your partner may lash out in fear or anger when you or they perceive that you're being betrayed or lied to. For example, let's say everything's going well in your relationship, but one day, for whatever reason, I'm giving you an example for the guys watching, you're a young guy, whatever, you're a little bit immature, there's things you don't understand yet, right? And let's say your girl, for whatever reason, she's busy with her family and doesn't text you back for a couple of hours. And you're not used to that. So instead of simply waiting for her to get back to you, you assume that she's out there lying to you, that she's cheating on you, that she's doing something she shouldn't. And even when she gets back and explains to you that, hey, listen, I was just busy with my family, you still don't believe it. This is usually because you're simply immature and you're going off of your emotions, or you've been betrayed in the past. Whether you had parents that neglected you, abandoned you, mistreated you, or you've had girlfriends do that to you in the past. So now you think everybody's out to get you. And the moment something changes and you don't understand why, you assume it's the end of the world and you assume the worst. So what happens is when you re-engage and communicate with your partner, you lash out in fear, in anger, because you're afraid that you're going to lose the relationship. And this is why you have to be so careful with this. Misunderstandings, miscommunication. This is why really most arguments happen. And really all it takes is to just sit there, calm down, cool off, and you sort it out. Okay? Now, the third reason by which all arguments happen is when there is unmet needs. Now, this is going to happen when your expectations are disregarded, ignored, or straight out neglected, and it happens over a consistent period of time. Now, obviously, when you are in a relationship, whether you are a man or a woman, and your relationship just started out or you've been together for a decade, you need to keep the bond alive. You need to keep watering your relationship with love and affection and daily mutual effort. You have to be there for each other. You want to commit to someone for life, it's going to require all of you. That's love, that's commitment, that's passion. And when it's one-sided, the other person can become very frustrated. So what's going to happen here is you'll notice if, let's say, you make plans with your partner and they keep breaking plans. They don't show up. They give you an excuse. They make a promise and they break it. Let's say they break patterns in their routine. Or let's say they consistently neglect you. Then it's going to lead to you thinking that something is wrong, which can elicit an emotional response. Because naturally you care about your partner, you love them. Now they're not behaving how they usually do, or they're not treating you how you want to be treated, your needs aren't met. So what happens? You start shouting, you start arguing and fighting. And if you raise your voice, and especially if you do that with a woman, you're going to scare her and she may shut down. Or if she's more wacko, she's going to become belligerent as well. And you both start shouting at each other and nothing gets solved. And this is what happens in relationships. And when this happens over and over and over again, you destroy emotional attraction. Next thing you know, you're going to bed and, you're going to bed at different hours of the night because you don't want to sleep next to each other because you don't want to talk things through. Or you walk past each other and ignore each other for a few hours or a few days. And that's just going to stir up more bitterness, more contempt, more hurt within each of you. And if you don't sit there and talk things through and nothing changes in your relationship, then you're going to break the relationship that you have. Okay, it's going to become an empty, hollow vessel. There's nothing left. So these are the three reasons by which all arguments happen. And the cure is very simple. When it comes to reason 1, incompatibility, the only answer is to remove your partner that is incompatible with you, okay, and find someone that you are compatible with. Common sense, build the right foundation. When it comes to the root cause number 2, misunderstandings. Guys, as I mentioned, this is rooted in immaturity and unresolved past trauma. So what I would recommend you do as a man as well, my friend knows a lot about this on health, I recommend you check out his channel, Alex Fedorsky, for the guys. Fix your testosterone levels naturally. I cannot even explain how much that's going to help you with your masculinity, your demeanor, your character, the way you handle things, your emotions. Fix your hormonal profile, okay? That's going to drastically improve the quality of your relationships, okay? Reduce stress, okay? Change your environments to where you feel safe. You have to overcome your past trauma, okay? Giving yourself time to mature, if you're a guy watching and you're very, very young, okay? Or being patient with your partner and allowing them to do the same, okay? Remember, patience is a virtue, okay? You have to have, as they say in Old English, long suffering. That's the old word for patience. It suffers long. When you love someone, you give it time. And if your partner loves you, you would expect them to be patient with you, overcoming your traumas, patient with you maturing when you're both young. So if you really want to fix misunderstandings, that's really what you need to do. And of course, as well, improving your communication, right? Taking your time to cool off, calm down, talking it out, okay? Both literally implement this practice into your life where you simply do not go to bed until you talk things through. This will encourage you both, and you make a habit out of it to always talk things through until you both feel heard and understood and get to the root issue of the misunderstanding, so that in future scenarios, you know how to handle things properly without an explosive argument and talking things through calmly, which is going to help the emotional health of your relationship moving forward. Okay? And in regards to the third root cause, which is when you have unmet needs, and I know this sounds like simple, but I know a lot of people don't do this. You think your partner's a mind reader and that they're going to somehow understand how you expect to be treated, what your boundaries are, what you expect day in, day out. A lot of men and women do not talk about this. You have to, okay? If you're going to share your life with someone, you better get used to this, okay? Lay all your cards out on the table and be very crystal clear with your intent, okay? And expect the same thing back. Improve the quality of your communication. communicate your wants, your needs and expectations. And don't just do it once, okay? You have to constantly keep updating the software, so to speak. Every week or, every few days, however you want to do it, sit and talk to each other. Gauge the emotional health of your relationship. How you feeling? Guys, sit there with your girl. Get her to open up to you, which will happen naturally when you're more masculine. But if you're having fights and arguments, sit there, talk things through, okay? That's what you need to do. If you're somebody that you tend to get very angry, give yourself that time to cool off. Walk away from the situation. Tell your partner, I need 30 minutes. I'll be back when I calm down, so you don't say anything that hurts her even more. Then re-engage when you're ready to talk, okay? Be respectful. And by simply focusing on understanding each other and really, guys, really communicating how you want to be treated, things will improve. But if you become very bitter and close yourself off and, think, things will change by simply being silent, right? And then we'll just forget about it. Tomorrow will be a new day and so it's a new start. It's a new fresh start. And that we'll just keep sweeping the arguments under the rug, that things are going to improve. That's simply not true. If you have a build-up of unresolved fights and arguments, those emotional wounds are going to stay and they're going to build up. And it's going to get to a point where eventually there's going to be so much trash, then you're going to get the notification alert that there's not any storage left. And then you're going to have to clear it out. And that's going to be very painful. So do not let it get to that point. Okay? So all in all, remember, the root causes of arguments are always going to be 3. Incompatibility, you have to walk away. Misunderstandings and unmet needs are the 2 reasons that you can actually change by actually communicating and understanding each other and making an effort to meet each other's needs on a consistent and daily basis. With that said, that's been the video. I'd love to hear your thoughts down below. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. I upload videos weekly. For those of you who would like to sign up to my relationship mastery and learn about relationships and what I teach, sign up to my coaching. There's a link down below in the description to my email, book a coaching call, and see if you're a suitable fit. For any of you who have a success story or a bad relationship experience and you'd like me to break it down in a YouTube video so that others can learn from your experience, the email's in the description. Send it to me and I'll get right to it. With that said, I hope you all have a wonderful day. God bless all of you and your families.